Hello, and welcome to the Steve and Mark Discuss podcast, where my esteemed associate here, Steve, will bring up a topic, talk about it for a few minutes, and I will, as normal, respond. So, over to Steve.
Hi, people. Nickelodeon, the home of SpongeBob SquarePants, the channel for the children. It's been in the news recently, but for all the wrong reasons. HBO made a documentary about paedophilia and profiled 3 employees of Nickelodeon who were sentenced for abusing children. Acting coach Brian Peck molested a child star, Drake Bell, and he was sentenced to 16 months in prison. When he was released, he went on to work with the Disney Channel just to keep his hand in. Production assistant Jason Handy, a strange name for a production assistant, worked for Don Schneider, also an abuser, during the late 1990s. Handy was jailed for abusing a 9-year-old girl in 2004. Police found thousands of images of children when they raided his house to do a search on his house, and they found his diary. And one of the entries in the diary said, "Paedophile full-blown." So he was saying that about himself. Ezo Chanel worked as an animator until he was sentenced to 7 years in prison in 2009 for molesting a boy on set. Also, he lured 2 boys to his studio for a porn party. Chanel had been convicted for child sex abuse before he got to Nickelodeon. So he was actually convicted before he even got there. In 2012, apparently, in California, they made a law mandating background checks on anybody who wants to work in the children's entertainment field. However, the outlets have never implemented them. Hollywood ignored it, and convicted paedophiles still get hired today, apparently.
Well, actually, yeah.
Nickelodeon, of course, said it takes all accusations seriously. Not to be outdone, Disney have had their fair share of kiddie fiddlers, with 5 being arrested in 2022 alone in Florida. We always have a Disney employee in custody when we do a sweep, one of the local policemen said. So it strikes me that these entertainment companies for children are hiring people for all the wrong reasons, and I'm not sure, why the companies aren't doing the background checks, and why they are hiring these. HBO, this documentary was released this week, I think, and cited these cases. Nickelodeon had more people. They only cited these 3, but I think there was like 5 or 7 people in Nickelodeon who were messing around with the kids in the channel. It's a little bit like being a school teacher, I suppose. When you get access to children, you should be thoroughly vetted. But as we know, a lot of people aren't, and they slip through.
Yeah. Well, if that's over to me, that's a hell of a topic.
It is, I'm afraid.
Yeah, for all the right reasons, also I'm not very comfortable with this, but yeah, we'll do it.
Well, you should.
As a parent as well,
Yeah.
yes, it's got to be addressed. Right. I mean, I have read a lot about the history of Hollywood, and let's just say into Hollywood.
Oh, right, sure.
And you read the golden age of the 20s and the 30s.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure that Shirley Temple had a moment.
But I've actually read a bit about it. Yeah, she was. You know, I don't think it was that type of abuse, but she was certainly forced into sorts of situations. But yeah, I mean, more recently, I mean, as I started my age now, sort of thing, Corey Haim, of the Lost Boys, that was the other his friend, made some accusations. Been saying it for years. I don't know truth or failure. If things were seriously investigated, but there does appear to be an underlying problem. There's more. I mean, yeah, I rave about the 80s and the 90s and how good and cool it was. There was a lot that went possibly not unnoticed, but unchecked. Not only in US, but we'll stick on the US at the moment. For obvious reasons, yeah.
Well, I don't see the US. I don't see Nickelodeon and Disney being greatly different from the BBC.
Well,
you know.
Well, this is it. But I'm sticking with this at the moment because that's where my mind is. That yeah, this is. I've heard, as you know, I sort of follow different things of the entertainment industry because it's an interesting subject for me, but mainly pop culture and more science fiction and things. Yeah, occasionally some of the podcasters from the US are now coming up or saying about this, and there's been the risky thing is if there's a film franchise or somebody's in a film and they get convicted around the time, the film ratings are probably going to fall and everything else. So it's in the studio's interest or to actually check everything. There have been, yeah, again, this has been known for a while. I believe they have people in the US called fixers, the studios have, who actually make problems go away one way or another. Probably a lot of that happening. I don't know specific cases, and I'm not going to say them here, whatever I've read, because, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, certainly in recent times, I do think that Hollywood has been trying to clean itself up. And then something else has been going down on there. There's all sorts of accusations about different things. I'm getting a bit off topic here, and I'm doing it deliberately, but satanic rituals and things like this.
That was in the days when all this was in the fashion.
Yeah,
when they were giving it this, But they had to do that. They had to do that to try and keep the trends going. Yeah. But it wasn't really satanic because the all-seeing eyes is a religious thing.
Yeah,
it's a Catholic thing actually. It's a Catholic thing. It's the all-seeing eye is a Catholic symbol.
Yeah.
So
there's all sorts of strange rumors that are always coming out. Now, certainly before I moved to Brazil, I had to do, and it's associated because our members of my family have worked with children voluntarily, and have had voluntarily done a CRB, background records check, criminal records, whatever it's called now. Again, people can do that, and you're not going unless you have a conviction against you or arrest. Yeah, you don't know. It seems very strange that people get re-employed, but it's not it's sometimes who you know as well. There was I read quite recently about this Corey Haim and some of the things that he's been saying. And you suddenly think, well, if somebody's so consistently going on with these, saying these stories, there must be some element of truth in it. Either that or they're a complete fantasist. And this is it sometimes. It's people kids get accused of being fantasists. And then you've got to ask yourself, where are the parents or the guardians of all this? Is it fame at all costs sometimes?
Oh, right. You know, I remember seeing in a different documentary, I remember seeing a woman with a child wanting to get a child into films.
Mm.
And the director, it was all a setup to see how far the parent would go. You know, so they asked her, you know, does he sing? Yes, he sings. Does he dance? Yes, he dances. Yes, he dances.
Yeah.
He's a good dancer, she said. Will he do nude scenes? Oh, yes, she says. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. There's no problem with that. Just to get a son into films. You know, so the parents, they just don't have any notion.
Scruples. Well, yeah, ideas. Yeah, it